think about disability as a significant impairment in functioning that it's either chronic, which means that it lasts for a long time, or it affects the entire duration of a person's life. Yeah, I think that it was easy because I didn't have anything else to compare it to. This has been all I've always known. I've always had a disability. I was born with it. So accepting it, I think, was the easy part. Because right now, you are the one who knows that something is wrong with me. I don't. Because in my head, I walk normally. Right? So it's when you look at me that I'm wondering, what are they looking at this? My parents are absolute rock stars. I like to call them the ultimate parenting tag team. My mom was very big on the medical and rehabilitation side of things. My dad was very hell-bent on the education and the schooling part of things. And so when you put that together, a parent who's killing you with rehabilitation, aka 21 sessions of therapy a week, and a dad who's like, in this house, your master's degree is the equivalent of your first degree. It kind of does make a very good balance of, being told all the time that you were more than, your disability was a small part of who you were, and that who you were was really you, what you could do, what you could learn, what you could become, and what you could offer to the world. And so my parents in training and raising me that way, they just helped me become me. I think the amount of time I spent wallowing in a little bit of depression in my law school years, my law school and service years, I feel like that chunk of time is really lost. Because I don't have memories of that chunk of time beyond, okay, I passed the bar and I finished service. And that was because I was dealing with clinical depression at the time. And every time I think about my life, I feel like these are the 2 years I wish I could redo and kind of just not waste that time in being lost in that fog of depression. If you're having relationships with people, you're having a relationship with the person as a person, not as a disability. I come into the room Toby first. I don't come into the room disability first. My disability does not factor in my relationship with you, sir. It won't. If it is a problem for you, then we cannot have a relationship. So, for us to have a relationship in the first place, you have already concluded for yourself that it is not a problem for you. And I can already see, because I can read it if it's a problem for you and you're trying to pretend. I mean, I have a friend who I'm stupendously close to and I love, but her husband and I, because it is a problem for him. Even though he tries to pretend because of my friend, it is a problem for him. So, we love you, but stay in your lane and I'll stay in mine. And so it works. So I have amazing friendships and amazing relationships because I'm entering relationships with people as Toby, not as a disability. Disability doesn't factor. So my best friend will tell you if I do something stupid, she's not call me out and tell me, babe, that what you did was stupid. It was bottom line stupid. Like, auntie, is your brain small? Like, because yes. It's not your disability that is in question here. It's about your actions. It has nothing to do with that disabled or not. And so it doesn't affect my relationships. If somebody has a problem with my disability, then they cannot be in a relationship with me. End of. Best memories, or I think my best memories of school actually the secondary school. I was in boarding school. I was in Lagos State Public Boarding School, and I had this set of friends, right? And actually, well, I'm an adult, so they can't beat me now. We broke the law, we snuck out of school. And my friends and I did an excursion into a Darfur bus, and they figured out how to get me on and off multiple downfall buses to all of our various destinations and back. It was the most ridiculous thing ever because we got back to school, we got caught and we got beaten, but it was so much fun, right? Yeah, so that was really cool. I'm serious. I'm sure my friends, if they're watching this, they're like, "Are you serious? That's like your coolest secondary school memory." I'm like, seriously, because for me that was inclusion in motion. These were two people who didn't stop to think about how difficult it was going to be for them to move their friend who could barely walk in a duffel bus in Lagos. Like, they didn't even think about it. Because I remember saying, "Are you guys sure you guys want me to go with you?" And they were like, "Where's the fun if you don't come?" You know, and the fact that they were willing to basically do it, like do all of the motions with me, just meant a lot. And then there's a similar one when I was 7. I also had this friend. This one, she has liver. She puts me on an okada. It's still like, although she was like, "I will never do that again," but like we did it once, and it was really nice. So those are like the cool stuff from school. And then the worst experiences, I think, there are two that stand out. It was my first year in uni. It was my first week, really. I was walking out of my room and I was walking towards the stair gate to try to find a cab to class, and girls were jumping out of their rooms in their underwear and nightgowns, and they were lining the streets to stare. And it happened every day for almost 2 weeks. It was ridiculous, and of course then comments were being passed. People said things like, "Where they find that freak from? How is she not dead? What's she doing here?" That was rough, but yeah, but like, again, it not pay my school fees to come there, so they'll be all right. So I just kept it moving. And then the second one, I think that was really rough, was having lecturers constantly ask me what I was doing in school, or having lecturers say to me that they did not think that I was good enough to be studying law. I think that those were the two things that, you know, the basic address, like school experiences. But yeah, not really. Nah. What? No. How? Who is all of them's daddy? One of the things that my parents hacked very early on was how I learned. Right? How I learned. And the minute I hacked my learning style, who's your daddy? Who is your daddy? I went to come to class. I mean, by the time I spent 2 weeks in the class, I'm already telling my daddy, "See the subject, last, knife. Like, I can already tell based on the teaching and learning style of the teacher that it's not going to work. And this has nothing to do with disability. I don't think it does. Except somebody now wakes up and tells me I'm dyscalculic, because I cannot understand maths in my life. But my friends who are teachers are convinced that it's because I had bad math teachers my whole life. It's not because I don't know maths. Anyway, apart from that, I don't think my disability affected my academics pretty much in any way, because again, I graduated on schedule. I was called to the bar by the time I was 23. I do not think so. My dad was my biggest, most humongous support system ever I've seen every day. Yeah, because my dad was just was the coolest guy who kind of thought I was kind of like I think that the guy just thought it was just some kind of adventure to have a disabled child. So he rolled with the punches and helped me learn to roll with the punches every step of the way. So yeah, it's my biggest persistent. Yeah, I think my mom struggled. I think my mom struggled a little bit more than my dad. I think my dad came to acceptance a lot faster than my mom did. I think that my mom, and I think that this is something that's common with women, because again, women are primary caregivers of their children, and so that whole constant sense of being blamed when something is wrong makes it difficult for acceptance to come easier for women. And so I think that my mom struggled a lot with accepting that this was going to be her reality. I think for my dad, it came a little easier, and so he was quick to say, "Okay, this is what it is. What do we need to put in place so that she can still live a full life?" think it was a combination of the two. I've always been able to talk well, and I have always hated unfairness, right? And if you're the last child in a Yoruba household, unfairness will be your stocking tree. They are going to use you till you're about to hit. So my favorite line growing up was, "It's not fair." And so my dad would say, "Oh, this is not fair. Last you need to study law because I don't understand." And so I think that being constantly told, last you gotta study law, kind of just stuck with me, and then it became my choice. Because it now became something that I now wanted to do, because somehow the way that I looked at it was, law was my way out of all this offense. So then it became my choice, and I chose to study law. Biggest advantage of inclusion for me, right, is that I have the capacity to deal with life, like real life adverse experiences. I do not have the mentality that anybody owes me anything because I have a disability. I believe strongly that I am supposed to compete on the same level playing field as everybody else. Like, I know how to hack society. When society doesn't work for me, I know how to find a way around it. So those are the things that I think are the biggest things that inclusion did for me. I'm not, I don't feel like, while I feel the pinch of an inaccessible society, it doesn't hinder me from performing. Because inclusion already taught me, like for instance, growing up, right, my dad, I'm sure you noticed, this house has stairs. My dad has always built our houses to have stairs. And the reason that he did that was to say that society is going to have stairs. They're not going to think about the fact that you have a disability and you cannot climb. So the earlier you learn how to climb, whether it's that you want to crawl, you want to bottom shuffle, whatever you want to do, I'm going to put the obstacles in your way that society will put in your way, so that you learn how to like navigate them now, so that when you go out, it's not new. And so that has really helped me. So when I go to places and things are inaccessible, things don't work, I'm immediately able to think and be like, okay, what can I do differently to make it work for me? To be honest, I think that for the first couple of decades of my life, it was really just my dad. Because I'd look at the guy and I'd be like, gosh man, this guy's putting so much work. I cannot afford to forehand. Like, this one is so much work. Like, I can't afford to forehand. Like, I just got to step up my game. And so for a long time, it really was just really, making my dad proud. And then beyond that, it started to go beyond that. And then started realizing that I was in a unique position to become a voice and a face for the next generation of people that are like me, especially children. And I was also in a unique position because I also had a unique voice to help parents navigate this thing without breaking the bank, right? So that became a bigger drive. It stopped being about just making my dad proud. It started being about just helping the next generation of people live better lives without that. Because I'm me. That's what makes me different. I'm gonna talk to parents first, please. So parents, I know that it's hard. I know that society doesn't make it any easier. But listen, beyond what you leave for your child, it's what you leave in them. Right? So please make sure that in the middle of all of the hustle and bustle of raising a child with a disability, you're leaving in them the tools that they need to navigate a life that you're not going to be here for forever. Thank you. Alright, here we go. So if you're living with a disability and you think your life is over and you're like, why me? You're allowed to ask that question. We all do. But what you need to know is that God does not make junk. And this life cannot be this hard for it, and it will not count. So if for nothing, make this life count. It's already hard. Can you please just make it count? Thank you.